What's up, you guys? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Hey guys, I wanted to make a really quick video because I see a lot of people asking the question about how to burst properly with Phantom. I know with Challenger World and all these burnings that we're getting, there's probably a lot of people playing the class and just trying to understand exactly how we burst. So this video is going to be really quick, really nice and easy, straight to the point. So let's just get right into it. And as always, it's going to be done in one take. So if I mumble my words, if my voice cracks, it's all going to be in the video. So just make sure you give this a like and leave a comment if you enjoyed the video. So the first thing that we're going to want to do when you're bursting with Phantom, and I just want to caveat that obviously Phantom is a Cont class. Now that's very important because Cont has an 8-second uptime and 4-second downtime. In 8 seconds, you cannot get your entire burst in that window. All right. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to throw Ace in the hole first. So the reason for why we throw Ace first is so that we proc Cont a little bit earlier than all of our other buffs, and that will come into play a little bit later. So we want to proc Cont early. We're going to buff up. We're going to use Phantom's Mark and Rift Break, and then we're going to Origin. And after we Origin, you're going to throw Tempest, Rosé, everything else that you have available in your kit. And right before the next proc of Cont comes up, you're going to use Luck of the Draw and Lamort. What this will do is that it'll make sure that Luck of the Draw and Lamort also fall within the Cont and Last Resort timing. Sometimes it'll be like a few seconds on or a few seconds off. Obviously, like server lag is a thing, so just keep that in mind, but that's ideally how you want to burst. Now, I'm going to have a BA up so that like you also can see at the end what the damage distribution is. And then that's something that comes up quite often, especially as like people are trying to level their Hexa and understand like what does the most damage on Phantom's kit. So I'll have that up so that you guys can see. Now I'm just gonna run the rotation. I'll just do a full rotation on Phantom, or not a full rotation. I'll do a full like Origin burst into a next burst, so that you guys can see exactly what the damage is looking like there. It'll be a little bit skewed towards Origin, obviously, because it's going to be a 2-minute BA. But just keep that in mind. So let me I'll use Final Cut. I'll make sure all my buffs are up. I'm going to turn on the BA. We're going to throw Ace. I'm going to buff up. Phantom's Mark. This. And then instantly Tempest. Rosé. This, and now I'm gonna Luck of the Draw and turn on Lamort. So you'll see that like it should get majority of it on. It actually got all of it. So that's exactly what you're trying to aim for. And basically after you do that, it's just like the usual Phantom rotation, right? So you'll throw Ace when it's ready. You'll throw Rift Break and Phantom's Mark when Cont is up. Same thing with Tempest. You just use that off CD. Rosé, same thing. And then the swap for Hypers, you usually just want to make sure that you're looking at your Rosé, or at your Lamort, sorry. The reason for that, or why you're not really looking at like Last Resort, is because if you guys remember, we literally used Lamort a little bit later than everything else, just so that we made sure that we got everything in. So that's really important. But see, our mini's about to come up and it's going to line up perfectly with our Cont. So I'm waiting. There it is. We get a full Tempest in that Cont. I'm gonna throw Ace. And then I think we're also gonna be able to get some of the Rift and the Phantom's Mark in there. Perfect. We got all of it in. And same thing. Make sure that you guys are looking at your Lamort CD to swap your Hypers. That's kind of like your base that you want to go for. So you'll swap perfectly and everything's lined up. You see like my burst is going to come up in 20 seconds. Luck of the Draw, it's at 22, so just lagging a little bit behind, but everything should line up perfectly. You'll keep doing rotation. That. Nice. And that should be pretty much it. I'll just pause it whenever this comes up. Okay, perfect. Now let me arrange this by accumulated damage. All right, so obviously, like I was explaining earlier in the video, the Fine Fate, which is our Origin, is going to be very high up. But if you do a full 6-minute BA, the Fine Fate usually is way like down. So Tempest, Melee, Ace, maybe our Mark sometimes is up or above. It just depends exactly at like where you start the BA. So just take this with a grain of salt. Tempest is another thing that you want to take with a grain of salt, depending on how many resets you're getting in the BA or like in just like a boss in general. But for the most part, Tempest, Melee, and Ace are gonna be your 3 most like highest damaging skills in like 99% of the cases, with this one being the exception, right? So after those, you have Phantom's, like your mark, like Carte Noir. You have Luck of the Draw, Phantom's Mark, Rift Break, La Morte, and then the blue card of Noir, and then you have Rosé at the end. I know a lot of people sometimes will wonder if it's worth to use Rosé. You should definitely be using Rosé every time it's up. It's actually so worth to use it now. So, yes. I think that pretty much covers it. Oh, another thing that I wanted to talk about. So, there's this website called the Maplestory Scouter. I'm going to leave a link to that in the description. There's an option in that site where you guys can actually just like look at how to level your Hexa. And I'm going to show that really quickly here. Let me just pull it up. Because I know that a lot of classes will oftentimes have their progression status on their Discord. So like if you're playing Phantom, there is a an image that'll show what to level. But here, let me change my screen. Okay, so here you guys can see once you input your Scouter, and this is how the Scouter looks like. Once you input all the details about your class, you go to where it says results. And once you press that, you'll have detailed information and Hexa efficiency. So where you want to go is to the Hexa efficiency portion. And then this will basically give you a recommendation on how to level your skills to do the most amount of damage. This is usually what I use for like all of my other like Legion champions that I'm leveling. So I recommend you guys to also like use this. If you can't find the classes like specific leveling up guide, this is a really cool resource. But at the end of the day, don't sweat it too much. You're gonna max out everything relatively quick. So it's not really a pain point. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.